Players like Michael Olise, Jared Bowen, Ollie Watkins, Ruben Neves, Ezri Konsa, among many others, have proven that the Championship is a great league for Premier League clubs to recruit from. So here is one player from every Championship club who you could soon see in the Premier League. Beginning with Barnsley, I'm going to go with their 24-year-old goalkeeper Bradley Collins. He's the goalkeeper with the most saves in the Championship this season with 92. And his performances really stood out for me in the playoff matches at the end of last season when he faced Swansea City. His good form has continued into this season, and impressively he's made 35 successful run-outs to claim the ball, and this is due to his high position, which was evident in one of those playoff matches. Alongside that, an interesting stat to add is that he's the goalkeeper with the most successful dribbles with 3, if that really means anything. For Birmingham City, I'm going to go with Christian Pedersen, and this is really due to the interest that's been shown in him recently from Burnley. His contract is expiring at the end of this season, so possibly he's a good option for a club like them. He's a left back whose main strength comes in defending, with the second most interceptions this season with 59. This isn't to say he's anything really special, but he could be a good squad player for someone near the bottom of the league on a cheap deal. For Blackburn, I've gone with the obvious one of Ben Brereton. It's their striker with 20 goals this season, making it the second most in the Championship. Out of the top 3 goal scorers in the league, he has the best goal conversion rate with 26.3%, and all of his 20 goals have come inside the box, with only 4 of them being penalties. He's getting international experience with Chile, so this is very appealing to Premier League clubs. At 22 years of age, I can see him making the same steps that Adam Armstrong has took, getting into the Premier League and possibly via promotion with Blackburn. At Blackpool, I've gone with Josh Bowler. He's a standout player for Blackpool this season. He's made the most successful dribbles of anybody in the Championship with 71. He's a right winger slash midfielder who hasn't done too much in terms of attacking output with just 1 goal and 3 assists, but it's his technical ability which makes the difference for the team. It's reported that he could be on the move to another Championship club, but maybe he could make his way into the Premier League with that new club he signs for. Lloyd Kelly has been the captain of Bournemouth this season and has been a big player in their side. He's made the most passes for them this season and also the most accurate long passes too. It's really his on the ball qualities from defence which is a standout quality. The 23-year-old has attracted interest from West Ham, and if Bournemouth don't gain promotion, then I'd imagine Kelly will be looked at by many Premier League clubs. As a young centre-back with leadership experience and quality on the ball, he's a great prospect from the Championship. Bristol City's 28-year-old centre-back Thomas Kalas is experienced internationally with the Czech Republic and played at Euro 2020 last year. As an older player to fit in a Premier League side alongside some younger players, he'd be a great asset in someone's squad. Every team needs some of those older heads, and Kalas would be a good player for someone to have in their defence. At Cardiff City, I've gone with Kiefer Moore. This is purely for Burnley really. After they lost Chris Wood, you looked into the Championship and Moore would be the perfect replacement. There hasn't really been any reports of a move to Burnley, but he would be exactly what they need in their squad. Whether he'd be a great striker elsewhere in the Premier League, I'm not quite sure. It's just Burnley is the perfect place for him, and surely he'd fit right into their first 11. In Coventry City's midfield, Gustavo Hamer is a player I've talked about before, but his form has continued at Coventry this season as well. He's a well-rounded midfielder that has gained some interest from Premier League clubs already, and whether it's defensively or offensively, Hamer is so influential in their midfield. A recent match against Peterborough made that really clear, as he scored a goal as well as completing 3 key passes, winning 4 tackles and making 2 interceptions. It doesn't really feel right talking about Derby in this way with the Premier League, as I hope they'll be able to keep their players in the first place. But in terms of individuals, Max Bird is a young midfielder that has already made 86 appearances in the Championship and has been a star player for them over the last few seasons. He's a hard-working midfielder that has been crucial creatively this season, but most of all his defensive work in the midfield. Max Bird is a game-changing midfielder that will probably be in the Premier League one day. For now though, I hope he can stay at Derby and help them through their troubles. At the end of last season, Fabio Carvalho came on for Fulham in the Premier League, and even then I knew he was one to watch in the Championship. So far, the 19-year-old has scored 8 and assisted 2 and has really looked a bright prospect. There is in fact strong talk that Liverpool are interested in him among many other clubs. I really believe that Fabio Carvalho is a name to remember. As an exciting forward, it seems like he has a big future ahead of him. At Huddersfield Town, Lewis O'Brien is a 23-year-old midfielder being looked at by many Premier League clubs already because of his dominant performances in the Championship. He's won the most tackles in the league with 73, he's left-footed, and his heat map for the season is very lenient to the left. O'Brien is pivotal to Huddersfield this season, but his tenacity in the midfield and quality with winning back possession, it really is these qualities that stand out not only at Huddersfield Town but from the whole of the Championship. In Hull City's back three system, Jacob Greaves is a right-footed player who plays on the left side of the back three, but he's been impressive at the back for them. Alongside equally impressive McLaughlin and Deschamps Bernard on loan from Manchester United, all of them look good at the back, but Greaves maybe just stands out a little more. He's 21 years old and was only playing for Cheltenham, who were in League 2 at the time in the 19-20 season. But Jacob Greaves was at Hull City last season where he helped them to promotion from League 1, and now in the Championship he's still doing very well. Luton striker Elijah Adebayo was linked to Newcastle United in the January window. This season he scored 10 goals and has the second most headed goals in the Championship. Now, he only signed for Luton in last year's January window but was on a short-term contract, so it expires this summer. It would be a great opportunity for someone to give him a chance, as it seems at some point he will get into the Premier League. It does seem like he's got the quality to do it, maybe a little early once again, but in comparison to the rest of the Luton team, I think he's the one who can reach the Premier League. Middlesbrough's Marcus Tavernier is a very versatile player. Under Chris Wilder, he's been played in the left central midfield role, whereas earlier in the season he was playing on the right side a lot. He's a chance creator from midfield, but also a hard worker out of possession, and that's what makes him a quality midfielder. Tavernier is a left-footed player, so it's understandable as to why Wilder wants him on the left for the crosses into the box, but his ability to play on the right as well is a great quality to have. It does seem like Tavernier will get to the Premier League at some point, and once again it could be with Middlesbrough if they get a promotion. At Millwall, it's as simple as naming Jed Wallace, the player who is gaining a lot of interest in this window. A fantastic player in the Championship over the last few seasons, with 10 goals and 6 assists last season, 10 goals and 12 assists in the season before. He's the player with the second most key passes in the league this season, so in terms of making an impact in attack, he definitely does that. There doesn't seem to be too much talk of a Premier League team interested, but maybe a transfer to a playoff contender, he could get them promoted with his qualities. As we discuss a really exciting young prospect in the Championship next, we're so close to 10,000 subscribers, so please, any help towards that milestone is very much appreciated. Brennan Johnson at Nottingham Forest went on loan to Lincoln City in League 1 last season to get some game time, and this really helped him to come back as a better player, as already he's got interest from Brentford. The 20-year-old has scored 7 goals with 5 assists this season. He's great on the ball, dribbling past players. He's really an exciting player to watch. He has the most key passes for Forest this season, and it's clear as to why Premier League clubs would want him. Forest are another team near the playoffs, so they'll be hoping to push into there and be able to keep him next season. From a Peterborough United squad that's just come up from League 1, it's no surprise that there's not too much Premier League quality, but Dembele is probably the closest. He has the second most successful dribbles in the league this season with 65. It's clear that that is his speciality. Dembele is their top goal scorer this season with 5 goals, and he's also made the most key passes for them. He is 25, so he's not really a young prospect anymore, but the great flair that he possesses could really add something useful to a Premier League team. Benjamin Whiteman is Preston's top performer this season, who above everything else has just been very consistent for them. From midfield he scored 4 and assisted 3, but he does a lot more than just that by regularly winning back possession of the ball. He only signed for them 1 year ago, but this season he's really kicked on and been a crucial player for them. If he carries on at this rate with good performances every week, which he's been doing, then I think the Premier League will be calling for him very soon. At QPR, there have been reports of Premier League interest in Robert Dickie, who has been a key part of QPR's defence. He plays on the right side of a back three and is very comfortable on the ball, occasionally taking players on and dribbling past them, finding himself in advanced positions. He's part of a QPR team that are right up near the top, fighting for automatic promotion now as the gap has been closed. So either way, it seems fairly likely that Robert Dickie could be on his way to the Premier League sooner rather than later, with the reported interest in him as well. Reading's John Swift is another player that I've mentioned on the channel before, but with 8 goals and 11 assists, you can't not say him is a standout performer for them. His 71 21 key passes is the most in the Championship this season, and he is so important to Reading as a chance creator. Everything goes through him. At 26 years of age now, he'd be a really good asset to a Premier League team needing a bit more creativity in the midfield. At Sheffield United, I really think a Premier League club wouldn't be making a bad signing in getting John Egan. He's an international for Ireland and has experience in the Premier League already. He's 29 now, and I still think he can offer something great to a Premier League team, maybe one of those teams that get promotion this season. Signing Egan would be a good decision. For Stoke City, I'm going to go with Harry Souttar. His centre-back partner left for Burnley, and I think it's now Harry's turn to get a Premier League move soon. He's another really great young centre-back at 23 years of age. With 71 aerial duels won, he has a win rate of 78%. And that win rate is the best from the top 100 players for aerial duels won in the Championship. He is 6'5", so maybe it shouldn't be a surprise. That stat though, alongside the dominance and presence that he has in the box, should be very appealing to Premier League sides. And another great young centre-back is Swansea City's Ben Cabango. He was part of the Wales squad for Euro 2020 and has been impressive in his time at Swansea. Last season under Steve Cooper, he was a lot more dominant in the air, whereas under Russell Martin, it's a lot more possession based and on the ground. And therefore that means he is averaging a lot more passes per 90, which is good for him really, as it's a great attribute for those Premier League teams. He is 21 years old. I'm sure he'll be in the Premier League at some point, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's sooner rather than later. West Brom's keeper Sam Johnstone is someone who should be in the Premier League for sure. He's been getting into the England squad and has put in some impressive performances at all levels over the last year. For a Premier League team to get him, it will depend on if West Brom get promoted. If not, then he has to move on. To be of value to a Premier League side, which is very realistic for him, and to keep getting into the England squad, which I'm sure Southgate will want to keep doing. If you did enjoy the video, please click the like button. It really does help the channel, and for more insight and analysis, subscribe to Route One.